In this video, I'm going to give you a sneak peek at a few advancements with our steel stud brackets. And also, I have some wood stud brackets that I developed about 6 months ago, and I canned because here at The Container Guy, we do not believe in using wood as framing systems inside of shipping containers. So stay tuned in this video. I'm just going to give you a quick update with these systems, and I need your feedback on these wood stud brackets. Should I sell them? Should I not? Hope you learned something. So to start off, I'm going to talk about our steel stud bracket system. We love the system. It was refined. We have the steel stud brackets that go on the 60mm tubing across both sides, and then there's the corner casting covers that those connect to. But across the end wall of the container, we have to run a track across, and that track needs to secure to those corner casting covers. It's proving to be a little bit confusing for some people to do that. And so instead of trying to show people systems and walk them through it, we just said, hey, why don't we just develop a specialized steel stud bracket for the end wall of shipping containers. The issue with this is that there's two different types of shipping containers. There's an angle iron style that we call it, which is just the low spec, basically trying to save money by only using folded sheet metal there rather than the 60mm tubing, and then the higher spec 60mm tubing style. So we have a special bracket for each. If people think that this is intelligent, or if we find that it works, we haven't even installed them yet, then we will start including 2 of each in the kit, and then people who do buy the steel stud bracket kits will get both options. So you're not wondering, oh, what kind of container do I have and will it work? So we'll just give you them both. And one thing that's interesting to notice, currently, if we screw, this is the angle iron style, this is the sheet metal style, the low spec style. If we screw through here, we will puncture right through the outside of the container. So we don't want to screw through there. We have some 3M VHB tape, and we're going to try this. And this they use to build rockets. I believe instead of using fasteners, they literally use this and send rockets up to space. We have had great success with this with our Big Air 45 screen or mesh screens, and we feel it's going to work here, especially long enough to hold the studs in place until it's all studded and until it's spray foamed. That spray foam 2-pound closed cell locks everything in place, and really these things are just placeholders at that moment. So since we're in this low spec style container, let's stick these 2 on and maybe just pull on them and see how well this VHB tape works. This is science right here. We have not done this yet. I'm going to learn with you. So this stuff is notoriously hard to start. I should have done that before getting here. A lot of times you need a knife or something just to get started with this double-sided tape. And I got it. And so that, you peel the one side off, and then we should be able to just press and stick this on. I don't think it truly matters exactly where you put this on, but put it where there's an outside corrugation. So let's throw the first one on. Once this stuff goes on, it's sticky. So you want to make sure that these bottom tabs are lined with the bottom before you push forward. Let's give that one a minute to set. I'm going to start taking a minute to try to get this backing off. And did it so fast. Let's stick this one on as well, and then I'm going to pull on them. I'm not too sure how this is going to go. Somebody put this tape on ahead of time and they put it down towards the bottom. It should have maybe been a little bit higher just because of the radius of that. I'll be honest, I'm not too pumped about how that's stuck. I think I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. But what is cool about that is it does define that plane. If you put your track up here, and if it was connected to your corner casting cover, this will let you know how far out from the end wall it needs to be. And that was the biggest concern, is that we always had to tell people that they needed to be 2 inches from the inside of this face outwards, or it was like something like 1 7/8 inches, but we said it was kind of flexible. Now, even if this didn't stick to that back tubing, if it's screwed into this track, I'm sure if I pull on it, yeah, there you go, I got it. It's going to come off, but at least if it's stuck to this track, now that I look at it, it doesn't need to be screwed on there. It's just to define that final plane. And so I was thinking I had to go back to the drawing board or come up with a way to fasten this better, or maybe have to sacrifice and penetrate through the envelope, but don't do it. as long as this is secured to your track through the top and the sides, it's going to define the planes. Everything was rigid enough anyway. Once you get your vertical studs in place, this track's held in place. I think we achieved the objective of what we were looking to do with this bracket, and that's defining that last plane that was a little bit confusing for our customers. So good work, engineering team. We nailed that. It'll be a little bit before these are included because we have to order them and get them built. But we will update the product description when they are included in the kit, and you will see that you'll be getting them or not when you go to place that order. So give us a little bit of time. That will be live. Now, I want to show you something that I made. This probably 6 months ago. These things have been sitting around, and I just couldn't bring myself to even going outside and framing a container with wood. But I created those exterior studding brackets, and we're starting to use wood on the outside of a container. And that kind of came out of this, is we realized if you're framing with wood on the inside, you need to frame it like an attic, so to speak. The walls need to be away. If you're going to use fiberglass insulation, you need to ventilate the entire cavity all around. There needs to be vents in the roof, vents down low, and the air needs to circulate around that, just like an attic, so that wall system can breathe and you'll avoid condensation, or at least the condensation will be able to dry out and not be trapped in a double vapor barrier setting. So we went to framing wood on the outside of shipping containers, and that's proving to be pretty intelligent. If something was to mold outside, it's only outside. It's not inside your seam welded shipping container, which is non-porous and nothing's getting through and is not going to affect your health living inside of this thing. So we really like those exterior studding brackets, but these are made to mount on the 60mm tubing, same way as the steel stud brackets. And then they can fit in either a 2x4 with the top plate or a 2x6. And they can also be utilized as a bit of a hybrid system. So we could actually do 2x4, mineral wool insulation, rigid foam, and then maybe 1 5/8" steel studs. Potentially, if these were just in the inside corrugations, you could tuck your steel studs in the inside corrugations and then still do a couple inches of rigid foam there. But now you're gonna have that air gap all the way around, and that needs to be ventilated. And so now, what do I gotta do? Do I gotta develop new vents as well that install down low, and a ridge vent that goes up top to mimic an attic? Just something I did not wanna get behind, and so I kind of parked these. But if you do just plan on framing with wood, you're gonna do it anyway. You're not taking my advice. Again, my advice is steel stud framing on the inside of shipping containers and 2-pound closed cell insulation. If you frame it with wood and you make sure that your wood members are away from the wall and down from the ceiling, then spray foam with 2-pound closed cell insulation in non-humid climates that aren't, or a temperate climate or a mild climate, you're probably going to be okay. It's more in very humid tropical climates and up here in Canada or further north than us, where we get extreme cold, -40, -50 degrees Celsius, and then we're trying to keep it 20 degrees inside of here. That's when we get those huge temperature swings. That's when we get all that condensation. And even if you do use spray foam, if it's not 2 inches thick, it's not classified as a vapor barrier for the federal government, and therefore it's gonna mold, it's gonna rot, and you're gonna have health concerns. So, do you guys want me to keep continuing pursuing this, or should I shelf it? I will sell it to people. I know buddies of mine in the industry are framing with wood. I'm sure they'd enjoy this thing. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of these. I think worst case scenario, even if these aren't utilized inside of a shipping container, they may have a purpose when you want to span, say, up to a 2x10 across 2 containers and have a relatively hollow floor across them all. So you could install it on the outside of the 60mm tubing, and then whatever size of dimensional lumber, 2x4, 2x6, 2x8, 2x10, 2x12, all could secure in here and build yourself a little bit of a deck across 2 containers. If you enjoyed this video, please help us out and give it a like. If you'd like to see more videos of us modifying shipping containers, coming up with all these cool designs, please help us out and subscribe to our channel. Ring the bell for notification. What am I doing with my hand? And as always, check us out at tcg.ca. Hope you learned something.